The laughter started before the teenage girl had even reached the middle of the parking lot. It echoed between rows of gleaming motorcycles, cutting through the cool afternoon air with a sharpness that made several people glance over before quickly looking away again. Some laughed openly. Others smiled quietly, deciding it was easier to join the crowd than to wonder why a girl who looked barely 16 had walked alone into a gathering filled with seasoned riders. Her jacket looked old enough to belong in another generation. The leather was cracked from years of use, the sleeves had been carefully stitched more than once, and the faded fabric patch sewn across the back seemed hopelessly outdated compared to the polished custom jackets worn by everyone around her. She kept walking anyway, refusing to lower her head, refusing to let the mocking voices change her steady pace. None of them realized that within a few moments, the very patch they were ridiculing would silence an entire crowd and remind every person standing there that respect cannot be judged by appearances. Before we continue, if you believe kindness matters, that everyone deserves a second chance, and that judging people by appearances often hides the truth, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach more people around the world. The girl was named Emily, and although she carried herself with remarkable calm, every step demanded courage. She had never attended a motorcycle gathering before. She did not own a motorcycle, nor did she have years of riding experience. What she carried instead was something much heavier than any helmet or leather jacket could ever be. Hidden beneath her quiet expression was a promise she had made months earlier, one she intended to keep no matter how uncomfortable the journey became. People saw only the worn jacket. They noticed the faded sleeves, the slightly oversized fit, and the old patch stitched carefully onto the back. To them, it looked like something rescued from a forgotten thrift store. They assumed she wanted attention or was pretending to belong to a world she knew nothing about. No one bothered to wonder why the jacket had been repaired instead of replaced, or why she wore it with such care, as though every scratch and every crease carried a memory too valuable to erase. Emily had spent the previous night carefully cleaning the leather with a soft cloth. She had polished every zipper, repaired one loose thread near the shoulder, and brushed away every speck of dust. Her hands had trembled while doing it, not because she doubted herself, but because touching the jacket brought back memories that refused to fade. Each worn mark reminded her of someone who had once filled every room with laughter, strength, and quiet wisdom. The motorcycle event had drawn hundreds of riders from different towns. Powerful engines rumbled across the lot while families wandered between rows of beautifully restored motorcycles. Children admired chrome that sparkled beneath the afternoon sky. Volunteers prepared food for a charity fundraiser, and music drifted gently across the open space. It should have been a welcoming place, yet for someone arriving alone, surrounded by strangers, it felt overwhelming. Emily paused near the entrance and took one slow breath. She remembered the folded letter resting safely inside the jacket pocket. She had read it countless times over the past several months until every sentence lived permanently inside her heart. That letter had brought her here. The teasing grew louder as she walked deeper into the crowd. A few riders pointed toward the faded patch, whispering among themselves before laughing again. Their voices blended together until individual words no longer mattered. What hurt was not what they said, but how quickly they decided they already knew her story. Emily continued forward without responding. She understood something many adults never learn. Sometimes silence protects dignity better than anger ever could. She had not come to prove herself. She had come to fulfill a promise. Across the parking lot, an elderly rider standing beside a vintage motorcycle noticed her calm determination. Unlike the others, he wasn't laughing. His eyes remained fixed on the old patch stitched onto the back of her jacket. At first he frowned with confusion. Then his expression slowly changed. Recognition replaced uncertainty. The color drained from his face as memories he had buried years earlier came rushing back. He took one careful step forward. Then another. The laughter around him continued, but he no longer heard it. His eyes never left the patch. Because he knew exactly what it meant.